Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Our panelists are already lined up here in the flesh. So let's convene today's summit. And before we begin, allow me to introduce our distinguished guests for today from Kyiv. Joining us, journalist and analyst at Internews, Maxim Panchenko. And here in our studios, Nicole Yochin, journalist. Thank you very much for joining us. And our very own i24 News senior international affairs correspondent and analyst, Owen Alterman, the hero you didn't even know you needed. Thank you, gentlemen, so very much for your time today. Nicole Yochin, your thoughts?
I think that this war should be ended in 1 year, maybe more, because that's what from the beginning the Western countries said, that they wanted, or they think this war will be a few years, and that's how it looks like, because after a few years all the countries will understand that there is no way for them to continue this war, because they don't have enough money, ammunition. It's bad for the economy, it's bad for everybody. But until somebody is winning from this war, it will continue, from my perspective.
Attrition, so to speak. Is it not the Ukraine war, but rather the Russia war?
I believe it's now it's a political will and political reasons that are now in the middle of this war, because we have presidential elections in the United States, in Russia, also maybe in Ukraine after the war will end. So here now it's really dangerous, because now it's not what the people of those countries of the world wants, it's also what these politicians, what they can gain from this war to their political campaigns that now Putin will have, Biden will have, Zelensky maybe will have. So I think it's very dangerous, because these people sometimes they see themselves before their people, and that's why I'm not so optimistic about how it will end. But it will end just when those leaders will think it's good for them and not for their people, that's for sure.
Well, echoing the sentiments or the analysis that was brought up here, those Pentagon leaks, part of them suggesting that Kyiv's potential spring counteroffensive will not garner this sweeping victory, and more so, according to American analysis, that is, and more so suggesting that its air defensive are quite vulnerable. How is this affecting, if at all, the dynamics of the war? And as a side note question, who benefits from those leaks? That, again, accuracy, their accurateness is doubtful, let's put it that way. Nick?
Yeah, I believe the people of the world, they're the one that benefiting from that, because they understand better what's going on behind the scenes and what's really happening, because the countries with their intelligent units, they know exactly what's going on. But for the people, it's good to see a bit of what is really going on, what are the considerations, what's going behind the scenes, and what is really happening, because the media in every country just showing the agenda at what the governments or they want to show to the people, and also the countries and the governments of all those countries. So you don't see what is not so good for Russia on Russian media, but the same on the West. You don't really see at the same angle, objective angle, what's going on. And I'm not speaking about Ukraine, because they're trying to save their country. So there it's also that the people can't believe everything they see on TV. Yeah.
So Maxim Panchenko, is it really revealing the truthful American sentiments vis-a-vis the Ukrainian ability or capability?
Well, I would disagree with the previous speaker that this is...
Before we take a short break and get back to our discussion, let's dive into the Russian side of the divide, those online conscription forms that are beginning to be distributed. Russians not too eager to go serve, let's put it that way. Is a Russian revolt underway? And you know what, more so, can an unmotivated, untrained army win a war, Nick?
So, first of all, in Russia, of course, many people, they don't want to fight. Since the Second World War, they didn't fight in a real war, so they don't want it. Maybe they had some regional conflicts in Afghanistan and Chechnya and other places, but, you know, many people didn't fight like in the Second World War, and that's why they don't want to go to the war. But they have enough of power, enough of soldiers to fight for sure, and they can continue. It's a huge country, they have many people, and they can recruit even from other countries. private organizations. So,
but if we learned anything from the Ukraine-Russia war, is that spirit matters, and in this respect. Okay, Owen Alterman, Nikol Yochin, and Maxim Panchenko, you're staying with us. We're taking a very short break, and now we get back to our summit. So much more to unpack. Is the sanction regime essentially a failure? A few minutes, and we're back. Welcome back to the summit. Still with us, journalist and analyst at Internews, Maxim Panchenko, live from Kyiv, and here in our Tel Aviv studios, Nikol Yochin, journalist. Thank you very much for joining us, and obviously, I-24 News senior international affairs correspondent and analyst Owen Alterman. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for staying with us. So let's get to it. Can international pressure on Russia be a game changer here? Another quick fire round, gentlemen, and we'll pick it up from there. Nikol Yochin, please take the lead.
I think if it didn't help in the last 1 year and something, it will not happen. It will not matter at all, because what's matter it's other things, and this is the geopolitical games between the different countries, and now we have different areas of the world of influence: China, Russia, United States, Europe, and that's fight between them, and that's the only thing that will be matter in the future.
Maxim Panchenko, your thoughts?
Well, I think that sanctions really do have.
Nick, I do want to circle back to a point you've made earlier in our discussion, the White House factor. Let's put it that way. And another interesting report this week from Newsweek revealing black and white correspondence of an expected or anticipated wink from the Trump administration. The Kremlin was waiting, Putin was waiting to essentially seize Ukraine. A whole lot had happened since. Bottom line, is Putin just stalling time until the U.S. heads to the polls again?
I believe, it's a gamble, also for Putin, but also for Biden, because nobody knows how the war will go. They can't control it fully, and that's why I don't think that's each of the sides, they really want this war to be until the elections, but they understand in order to win, they need to win, or I don't know if there is a win situation in a war, just everybody lose from that. But anyway, they want to show that they are gaining something from this war. So from this perspective, I believe that both sides, they think the same way, but I don't know. I believe that maybe people will force those politicians after they see the atrocities of this war to end it before thinking about their political gain.
Yeah, and don't forget, 21 months. I mean, that's when Trump would take off. It's an awfully long time to bide your time.
No half pregnancy and no half victory. Maxim Panchenko, thank you very much for joining us from Kyiv. Nikol Yochin, Owen Alterman, thank you very much for your time and insight. We appreciate it. And we're out for a final 2-minute break. But when we get back, we have so much more for you. So do not go anywhere.